Welcome, friends, to episode 341 of Color Magic, your Magic Gaming podcast, where we talk about all types of issues that affect gamers at and away from their gaming tables and computers. I am your host, PowrDragn, and hopefully still making it all right down in Texas. Got my main man, Brian Sonic. How's it going, dude?
341 just sounds like a music group of some kind or something.
It probably was. We used to name R&B group. We had 311.
Yeah, it just that kind of vibe. With Blink 182.
Yeah, we used to use three-digit numbers. I don't know what happened to that trend, actually. Yeah, that's a good call out. Man, this was a little bit of a weird week, man. There was some cool science stuff to talk about, lots of magic stuff with some bannings, some YouTube related stuff. We had all kinds of things happening this week. So it should be a fun show. But before we get into everything, got to tell everybody, if you'd be so kind, if you want to support the channel and help us out, go over to patreon.com/colorofmagic. Where not only can you get a shout out like affirmations from a dad, which I think is a very cool username, but also I could use that in my life. I didn't have a lot of them affirmations from a dad growing up. So, that's always appreciative. So thanks for being a patron. But also you can get behind the scenes episodes, kind of pre-show conversation, other stuff that we're loading, some lore into our backgrounds, all that's over there, even those special episodes for the patrons, if you want to check those out. Also, if you want to buy cards, you can check out our friends over at ManaPool.com. Really, really cool stuff over there. They have actually almost 35 million cards now. And they have one of the coolest optimizers in the game to find the cards at the right price that you're looking for and the fewest number of packages, which is always cool. So check that out over at ManaPool.com. But all right, dude, we got to talk about the news of the week for Magic. It's been all over the place. I made a video about it. I think I saw about 30 other videos about it. But Monday morning, I'm going to scroll through my messages because I'm thinking, it's a banning day, but they're probably not going to do anything. And lo and behold, I was wrong. They really did something. They got rid of 3 cards that everybody was pretty much ready to see gone, I think. Well, I would say 2 for sure and 1 kind of. But starting with the biggest of them was Badger Mole Cub. The 2-mana card from Avatar. I think it was a card that had just showed up in so many lists, and it allowed for an insane amount of ramping. You could go from 1 or 2 mana up to 6 mana very quickly because of that. So I get why they wanted that card off the books. I think it just allowed for a lot of... I think, for me, if a card leads to a lot of what we'll call non-game situations where one person just gets run over by turn 3 before you even got to set up with anything, that's not really good for any format, realistically. So, understandable, but Badger Mole Cub had to go. Storm Chaser's talent also just showed up in a lot of lists. Pretty much anything that cared about prowess or needed non-creature spells to cast or wanted to reuse stuff from the graveyard or whatever spell-wise. This was in a lot of lists. Pretty much all the Izzet lists were playing this on some level. And then Grand, because they made all the lessons super efficient and good, Grand also made a lot of your spells cost less, and those all kind of fell into that category and went together. So I kind of get that. They also did ban the Fantastic card in Legacy and restricted it in Vintage, which makes a lot of sense. In those formats, that was a concern people had right when the card was even previewed. So that sort of played out how people expected. But like always, you have some people that get invested in these cards, and then that's tough whenever these things happen. The tough thing, I think, really most importantly, is that you're talking about a fairly competitive format, right? So you got to make whatever decisions you got to make to keep stuff fair and balanced. But also, one of those things is when you, and I guess this applies to every game, but if you hear or notice a card that's kind of overpowered and you see a lot of people talking about it and it's in a bunch of deck lists and a bunch of people are complaining about it, you also kind of should know that if something's going to get banned, it's at least earmarked. It's in the crosshairs. Not saying it will, but you can't be super surprised when it happens at the end of the day.
I mean, you can if you've never played Magic before, and we've got a whole bunch of people take the Universe Beyond that have never played Magic before. So yeah,
I would say if you've never played card games before.
No, like when I came into Magic from Xena Warrior Princess, I don't think anything in Xena was ever
Okay,
bad.
let me
It
say
Magic was.
established card games more specifically. Because I would say like Yu-Gi-Oh has probably the craziest ban and restricted list. Because there's changes, I think, every 6 months or whatever, and cards come and
At
go off
every
that list all the
universe and
time.
beyond, I'm sure we're getting our rate of people who have never played a card game before is probably higher than it's ever been. That's
Sure.
by design.
That's totally fair.
You're
But
getting people that have never never interacted with the card game, so the standard is a whole different animal. Because what other card game do you play, or game in anything? Let's say you play a board game. Let's say you've played Monopoly before. They're not going to ban the shoe. That's not a thing that
sure.
happens.
But I also think that that's just a thing that's just a fact of life you learn the hard way, sadly. Because there's no way around it. You can't just keep a format busted. You know what I mean? Like the games have to do something. I mean, we even see it in Pokemon where hell, it's even crazier in Lorcana because they didn't just ban a card, they like worded it in a way that it just sucked. So it's like, yeah, you can still play it. It just doesn't do what it used to do anymore. You know?
But again, Lorcana probably has a high percentage of people play that card because it's their favorite character. They could care less if they ever win a game.
Oh no. It was a competitively good card, which is why it was in a lot of lists. So that one's weird to me because I'd rather you just ban the
Somebody out there
card.
somewhere is playing it because it's a favorite character, though,
Oh yeah,
and we'll
somebody's
still play it
probably.
no
Yeah,
matter
I'm
how
sure
bad
somebody
you
is.
make. Me and my friends used to call it that one guy in school where you ask 10 people who their favorite character is. 9 out of 10 will say Spider-Man or one of the X-Men.
Sure.
There is that one person who will say their favorite character is, Ghost Rider or
Captain Boomerang, you know.
yeah, Ambush Bug, and they're going to
Oh
play
yeah,
that
but
card.
even then, I don't think that applies to these cards. I mean, maybe Grand, because that was at least like a somewhat lovable character from Avatar, but the others, I like they just end up being good cards, you know. But
Somebody
yeah,
might love Badger Roll Cubs. Doggone it. You know.
somebody somewhere, right? Everybody loves somebody's ugly baby. That's just the way it goes.
It's a cute little thing.
Yeah, thing. That's a good way to describe it. It kind of reminds me. I saw a video earlier today of these like I don't even remember what type of foxes they were, but they were this not like fennec foxes, but they were built like that where they have the small face and the big ears. And one of the comments was just those whatever the hell those are cute. And I was like, that's sort of what that felt like. I don't know how you describe them, but they're cute. But yeah, bannings are always tough though, like that, right? I think because to your point, right? Some people maybe did buy stuff, invest in a thing, whatever. But and even previous bannings for different games, we've had talks about that, and there's really just no way around it. Your choices are either keep a busted format that people are just upset about, and you know more and more people decide they don't want to play or deal with, or you just have to fix it.
Well, critics would
You know?
argue one of the ways around it would be better play testing, but when you're cranking out a set every 3 or 4 weeks, that becomes harder and harder to successfully do.
Yeah, to a point. I
Because
mean,
again, and you've been playing longer than I have, but I remember there were sometimes years that would go by where you didn't see more than 1 or 2 cards banned. Now it feels like
sure. But I also
every
but even then, I had the argument even back then that I felt that more cards should have been banned. I felt like we had stretches where we just didn't because they were like, we're just going to work through this and let it be a thing. But some of them, like, yeah, if they'd have put them on the ban list, I would have got it. I wouldn't have been upset about it. But I think they're just more willing to because the other problem too is I think compared to back then is we just have way more players and way more games being played. So people are finding the craziest things to do with stuff more consistently, faster, and at a higher quantity. So like even if something's a problem, you're running into that problem more often now, than you
I
would
guess
have before.
the worst example would probably be Vivi. Vivi is a
Now
lot of
Vivi's just
people.
one that I'm with you from the get-go, 100 agree. I ain't even gonna argue with you. Feel free. Continue on, sir.
But that Vivi is somebody that is a bunch of people's favorite character.
Sure.
So that absolutely is a feels bad.
Yeah, and that one I get, but that one I do put on R&D because that's one you look at and go,
Yeah, how this get through?
yeah, not a single thing on that card seems fair. Like so that one I don't understand.
some of it I'm sure was a desire to take a really popular character and push it really hard, and then they just did a little too much, or not even a little,
Yeah, it did a
way
lot too much.
too
Yeah.
much.
So that one's tough. Like at least these, I can see where you go, all right, they're going to be playable and useful. And then, format just gets out of control or whatever. Okay, we got to do something. But Vivi, literally out of the gate, everybody read that card and just went, really though?
Right?
like you're just gonna give us all this? Okay, cool, I guess. Yeah, that's basically what it was. I mean, so that one I do think is just something slipped through the cracks with that card. But yeah, it's fine. I mean, we won't really know what the result of this is yet. I mean, because one of the other things people argued is the tablet that's played in all the control decks probably should have ended up on this list too. We'll see if it's on the next ban list or not if it becomes a problem. Because part of it also is they might also anticipate the mid-rangey decks being better now because they don't have to deal with some of the insane speed from some of these other decks to where those decks can handle the control decks a little bit. So it might take a couple of weeks for everybody to get caught up. Plus, we had a new set drop on Tuesday. So with the Hobbit out, there's probably going to be some new decks anyway, people trying some new stuff. So it's going to be at least 2 weeks, I think, before things settle in.
Some giant spiders will eat some of these things.
Some bears, because that's a subplot thing there in the set. So yeah, so there's a lot of change really within this week that it's going to take a while to get adjusted to. So we'll see where we end up. But overall, I think it's a positive thing. We don't have another set for a couple months, and that'll be Reality Fracture when that happens. So we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen just yet, but at least we get a new standard for people to mess around with. And then the next time people see cards, it'll be a bunch of alternate reality Magic cards, basically.
Jace's a face heel turn incoming.
Yep. And he's needed the heel turn forever, so I ain't even mad about it.
Is it really? I don't even think it's gonna be a full turn. It's gonna be like, oh, Jace, you did a bad thing, but you were doing it for the right reasons. Is where
I don't even think it's the right reasons, but I think they're gonna be like, oh, he was just having a mental break or whatever, some excuse. And I'm just like, no, just let somebody be a bad guy. It's fine.
Well, he wanted to get rid of, the Phyrexians and the Eldrazi. I get that,
Yeah, but if it creates an alternate reality of your friends that are trying to murder them,
and obviously that was not the intention. So he broke, well, there's the trope. Nice job breaking it, hero. That's what
exactly. But again, not just breaking it, breaking reality.
Yeah. But I mean, people that have done that before have. If Hal Jordan can be redeemed, I guess almost any character can.
That's a tough one. Should Hal Jordan have been redeemed?
Well, I would argue Hal Jordan should have never been turned evil. So at that point, the redemption became necessary evil because
that's the thing, right?
You took the main character and made him a serial killer.
Because I mean, we're going deep nerd here now, though. But like, he did kind of go crazy and start trying to take out all the other Green Lanterns, though.
And again, that's bad writing. You wouldn't do that with Superman. You wouldn't do that with Batman because they're the main character.
Oh,
But because Green Lantern wasn't selling books, they went, oh, what the hell?
By the way, that episode or that issue has a crazy cover on it where he's got like the rings on, and some of the rings fingers have 2 rings, and it's like a glow in the dark cover with all the rings.
Right.
Like that's
even though
sick.
I hated the story, that was a badass cover.
Yeah, that was sick. I was like, man, like if you didn't even know the story that was going on and you saw that cover, you immediately go, what the hell?
That sells books. And then when it was in the process of turning good again, like somebody was murdering a bunch of lanterns, like, this is the most lanterns we've lost. He's like, I know when the last time this many lanterns got killed. Oh, yeah, right.
Yep. Obviously. My bad. The funny part about that, though, that's what gave us Kyle Rayner. Right. So we got a cool new Green Lantern out of that. But
did we?
Here's what's funny, though.
Jordan Truther, did we?
The funniest thing about that, when you think about it, is that little guy shows up, runs into Kyle Rayner, and it's like, hey, have this ring. By the way, crazy guy's probably going to be here in like 2 days, so figure it out. Right? Like, it's like,
their previous origin, bring me a man without fear. That's an origin, damn it.
Yep. So crazy. But yeah, man, let's hop into the soapbox for a little bit here, because I do have something that is a real rant this week. And for this one, My gripe, and I'm going to focus it on Twitch, though there's multiple sites and services that have had this problem, but mostly because it's been in the news this last week with Twitch. But they're going to be letting AI train off of their users' streams or videos or whatever that they have loaded. The problem with that, though, is the service is an opt out service. So technically, everybody's automatically in, and by using the service, you're agreeing to let AI train off of all your stuff. Now, they have not been secretive about it. They've been very open about it. They've made social posts about it. They've had little pop up things. But for me, the option should be opt in, not opt out. Like, we should automatically be out as the preset option. And then if we want to participate or allow you to participate, we click the button. Now, I know why they don't, because if you made it opt in, you'd get probably like less than 5% of the community would opt in, right? So they're not going to get what they want out of it. My thing is, though, if you're willing to do this and you think it's beneficial to your company for whatever reason, because no matter what, they're doing it because they think it benefits them more than the users, obviously. At least give them something for it, right? Even if it was just like, hey, if you're already monetized at the affiliate or partner level, you'll get an extra, I don't know, couple of cents per 1,000 views or whatever the case is, right? Then if you're at least a mid-sized, reasonable streamer, you're like, okay, I'll make an extra $20 a month or something by participating in this program. But you're at least incentivizing them and giving them something for letting your systems learn off of the work that they're doing. Because otherwise, like, they're just taking stuff for no extra value. You know, because it's not like their payments are stellar right now on Twitch anyway. So it's like, come on, man, what are we doing? And again, it's not just Twitch. I've seen this on other sites too. It's like the default should be we're out and we opt in, not the other way around. Like, most people don't want AI in their crap anyway these days. We see what problems it's causing in different situations. But if somebody does offer, like, hey, I will let you use my work to train your robots, there should at least be some incentive in there for them. I'm not saying it's got to be crazy expensive, but like, offer me something if you're going to be stealing my work, basically. That's all I'm asking for. Just like anything, just give me something, some incentive to participate. Otherwise, it's just like, what are we doing? Hell, we have companies that have been taken to court right now because they've been letting their machines learn off different people's stuff without telling folks. Now, at least Twitch has said something.
This is an absolute nightmare right now.
I agree. And here's what's even crazier. I just saw something this morning, and I was doing a little bit of reading on it. I didn't get to go too deep because prepping for multiple shows and stuff today, but it looks like both Oracle and OpenAI are kind of tied at the hip to a possible implosion, because my understanding, and this is why I need to do a deeper dive on it, so some of this may not be 100% accurate, but OpenAI, I guess, has a large investment with Oracle because of data centers that were built to power stuff they're doing or whatever, but they're both over leveraged for a pile of money, because we talked about it before. There's a bunch of money that got spent and invested in these AI companies, and nobody knows what the hell they're going to do with it. It's just, we need to do a thing so we're not last in the information race or whatever. But it looks like OpenAI could be struggling and possibly folding or shutting down a bunch of those data centers because of cost and, no output usage or whatever, which then also causes problems for Oracle because they were invested in all those data centers and the money and whatever. So it's going to end up being a chain reaction. It's going to be bad for a lot of people. Actually, mostly rich people that have been invested in these. But it's also a bad sign because we've seen that some folks who were historically known for taking out shorts on stocks, basically like the point you think they're going to fail or whatever so you can get paid, there's more of them coming out of the woodwork. So there's experts that believe these things are also going to fail too. So what the end result of all this is, who the hell knows? But I just think if you're going to be training stuff off of the work of other people that are not just that, the work of other people that are actively helping you make money, the least you should do is offer them something, discounted stuff, a few extra cents per 1,000, whatever, just something. So at least, hey, I get that you're doing it. honestly, you're probably going to do it anyway, but at least let me click in to agree to participate and then I get something for my effort. Because the other way around just feels gross, honestly. But I don't know. How do you feel about it in general?
I think a lot of people probably just like we talk about how everybody on everybody's not on Magic Twitter. Everybody is not on AI Twitter either, and I think this is them checking. Probably the majority of people. Well, I would say the majority. A lot of people are just going to opt in, and they know that. So that's why they're playing it that way.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think if more people were aware or concerned, they would opt out. But
And there is the thing, like, you got to be aware, you got to be following the news every day. You encounter something like AI. What's the data centers? What's the big deal? Because they just, for whatever reason, hadn't been following the news.
yeah, which is crazy to me because I've been looking around and there's a lot
I
of
like
places.
again, we have jobs where we're on computers and stuff all day.
Yeah, yeah.
You're, let's say, a truck driver headed across the country, delivering food to grocery stores. What do you know or care about what's going on with AI? You're not seeing it. It's
Hell,
not
depending on where you're delivering, you're probably seeing a lot of these lakes and rivers that are pretty low right now already. Without the data centers moving in. So that's the other concern.
Or is it a
Be-
great Sherry Shepherd? I got kids to feed.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, man, I don't know. Hopefully something comes out of this but either way, they've already made their decision. Twitch is going to be what it is. Just something to be aware if you're going to be making some content over there. But yeah, I'll give you some time because I kind of went on a rant there.
All right. We had one of those kind of F around and find out situations that we often encounter. Marty O'Donnell, composer who has worked on the Halo franchise, very well known, and was about to be going to the 25th anniversary Halo reunion at SAC Anime Summer 2026. It's going to be happening over Labor Day weekend in Sacramento. Unfortunately, Marty, I guess maybe the composing hasn't been going so well in recent years because he decided to run for office as a extremely far right wing Republican. I'm not talking. Well, MAGA might be might be underselling it. Let me just give you the quote that really kind of got him in trouble. Talk about an existential threat. This is where we are. We are on the cliff looking down into the abyss. The abyss is Marxism. It's anti-Western philosophy. There's a weird alliance of all these groups who like to pretend they're oppressed. This group that he says that likes to pretend they're oppressed includes Islamic people, Marxists, and the LGBTQ people. So when people at the who work for the convention found out about these comments, they went to their boss like, "Hey, we're uncomfortable being around this dude for obvious reasons." So he has been uninvited, and he and of course his supporters, and then also some people who are just right wing grifters trying to call cancel culture, saying again he's being unfairly attacked for his views. Like, bro, you attacked first.
The wild thing is the three groups he tried to just lump in together
Right.
because they don't even align together, which is wild.
Yeah,
So that doesn't even make sense.
but he's wanting you to be convinced there's some kind of legion of doom out there of all the people you disagree with, and they're trying to overthrow the United States. Okay,
Here's the
sure.
other thing, though, right? Like, if you know you are being invited to an anniversary thing that's going to encompass a ton of people, why would you even make that statement? Why are you putting yourself out there like that? At least do the smart PR thing till the anniversary's over or whatever. That's just a dumb move. Like I can't. Yeah,
Or actually, it technically could be a smart move because maybe I had looked at the poll numbers. Maybe he's down
I,
because I'm sure he's running against somebody that's actually held political. Well, actually, I don't know. In current political environment, maybe not. But this is a quick way to get him a bunch of publicity he literally could not have gotten any other way. Because I didn't know he was running for anything until this happened, and I've been playing Halo for God 20 some odd years. Had no idea this is a thing that was going on. So
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
I
I
think
guess to
getting a
your
bunch
point,
of
if he didn't make a scene, then maybe people wouldn't even know he's out there. So maybe there's
now
something
again,
to
I
it.
feel like it'll probably cost him a fair amount. But then again, as we've discussed on here before, a lot of people on the right have been trying to co-opt Halo's imagery, including even referring to immigrants as the Flood, who, if you never played Halo, the Flood are a swarm of parasitic aliens. So yeah, the fight for the soul of Halo has been going on for a while. This is unfortunately yet another battle on that front.
Oh, and he's running in Nevada? Oh, bro, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, it just
like, come on, man. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, that's we'll see. I don't think that's gonna go well for him.
no, and now he's kind of because again the convention circuit very lucrative. I feel like he's going to end up regretting cutting off his nose to spite his face on this one.
But all right, let's talk about some fun and interesting stuff because we have a very interesting thing happening this week and some good news to follow up on last week. So let's talk about one of the craziest things. And I tried digging around. This may have happened before, but I couldn't find anything because I feel like if it had, people would be talking about it. But by the time people listen to the show or watch the show, they will have missed an opportunity. But on the night of August 12th, which was Wednesday of this week, there's going to be which is a rare occurrence, 4 different celestial events happening at the same time. And I couldn't find a thing. I'm sure it has to happen at some point, maybe before recorded human history. Who the hell knows? But the things that are happening, there's going to be, I believe it's 4 planets that will be, a 4 planetary alignment. There's going to be a partial solar eclipse, a new moon phase, and a meteor shower that will occur during the course of the evening. Which is kind of wild because that means you could sit outside
Where's
probably
supposed to
for
be the
like,
vampire slayer? That's not they about to summon the mayor. I
oh
mean,
yeah, we got to
four,
find the hell mouth because this is the time,
four
right?
celestial events in one night. Somebody's sarcophagus is getting opened.
But dude, I'll tell you this: like living in the Northwest, I've been able to see, I guess whatever you call it, like the aurora borealis type stuff with the different colors in the sky and whatever. Like I've seen that multiple times living up here because of just, I guess, where we sit on the earth. You can see stuff, which is kind of crazy. That's the thing. But to watch that type of stuff or, different type of meteor stuff where at night is pretty cool already. So being in a spot where I might get to see all of these over the course of maybe like a 4-hour, 5-hour window, kind of wild. That's even a thing that's real.
I gotta
You
see
know?
how many, if any, of these are available to watch in Texas.
I don't even know. I would say wherever you try to watch it, if you could try to get either to away from the heart of the city, so you don't have a bunch of light pollution
I
in the way.
I love that I said available to watch like it's a streaming platform and not
Yeah, I get what you
a
meant,
series of
though.
celestial events. Like,
No,
is that on Hulu?
to be fair though, there's certain times when these events happen that if you're in certain parts of the country, you can see them
Yeah,
better than you can in other places. So
yeah,
I
absolutely.
understood what you meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say for any of these types of things, even in the future, for people listening, when you see this type of stuff, if you live in the city, it's probably gonna be best to get out to like one of the smaller suburbs or to at least a park outside the city or whatever, so you don't have all the immediate lights kind of coming and blocking some of your view. Because light pollution, sadly, is an actual thing when you're trying to look at that stuff.
So is there a
And
popcorn bucket for the the
yeah,
series of
exactly. Is there
celestial events?
probably somebody's probably
Right.
made one. I will say a cool thing though that I've learned from looking at, like I said, like the Borealis and stuff, is bring your camera because there's going to be stuff that sometimes you can see it a certain way or barely see it, but the pictures just are clearer and look better, with the enhancement and things they can do automatically. So you'll get some cool pictures of some of the stuff that you saw. But yeah, that's my news. What'd you have, dude?
An update actually on a news story we gave you last week. Tornado Terry's a very historic arcade in Fort Worth. Last week it was going away, but thanks to all the publicity, people have stepped in. There's been a GoFundMe, and somebody has offered to cover whatever the GoFundMe doesn't raise. So Tornado Terry's is not going anywhere. They are not going to have to auction off any of their arcade games. We got the absolute best result possible. I am super happy about that. Can't wait to get over there with the kids and just enjoy all those classic games and air hockey and just good, fun times. Absolutely.
Much respect, man, because that's one of the why I mentioned it last week. I was like, you know what? Maybe with it being such an institution, some number of people will come. Now, I didn't think necessarily they were just going to raise money, but maybe show up, drum up some business, buy some stuff from them, whatever to kind of help them make enough money. But it is cool that that happened, man, and even their neighbors deciding to just help them out, which I think is really awesome. I mean, to be fair, their neighbors are probably also going through some of the same stuff, so feel
Also,
their pain.
that because for everybody that wasn't listening last week, there's a lot of construction right on the route toward it, and I found in addition to the construction, I don't think I mentioned this last week, but as if being blocked off from the highway wasn't bad enough. Apparently, Google Maps, if you ask it where Tornado Terry is, will give you the wrong directions where you end up someplace that has nothing to do with Tornado Terry. So you combine those two things, and it was just a huge struggle for them. So I'm glad people have stepped up, and with some of the stuff they got in there in terms of video games, and apparently it's like an autographed Dragon's Lair cabinet by the legendary animator Don Bluth. That maybe they can get some kind of historic register so they don't have to continually go through stuff like this.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that cabinet alone, base price when we looked up was $6K. Like that's the minimum you will get for one of those, and that's not even being autographed or anything else.
Right.
So
So
who knows? They could be 20 to 30K
yeah,
potentially.
Bluth's autograph, I would say, makes that probably priceless because for people that don't know, I mean, when I remember the first time I walked into, I think it was Safeway, and saw the Dragon's Lair cabinet. Before that, video games looked like Pac-Man, asteroids. They were not in any way graphically intensive or pretty. To walk in and see literally Walt Disney caliber animation in a video game was at that point unprecedented.
Yeah, it was a crazy game, man. And it was also a different style of game
Right.
because it was more like a timing thing more
Yeah.
than playing through stuff, which was very interesting.
So in a lot of ways, I guess kind of paved the way for, the Dark Souls. Hey, memorize the pattern or you're going to get folded.
Yeah, even though it was like, I don't know, hell, 20 years, 25 years prior,
Right.
something like that. It was a
I mean,
while
so
ago.
many in terms of just the graphics and the game design, it paved the way for so much of what would come decades later.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, congrats to Tornado Terry's. They'll be around a bit longer. So good for the community. Hopefully people are at least still showing up and kind of make sure they stay alive after
Yeah,
all
that's the
this.
thing. I hope after the hype and all the news coverage dies down, people still keep going over this. I definitely plan to get over there as soon as I can.
That's cool. Let's get into some news topics because we have a couple of interesting bits here. The first is a YouTube thing, and this is mostly going to apply to anybody who's been trying to make it being a creator or whatever. They are raising their requirements for their minimum levels to get ad revenue on their site. And I mostly am mentioning it because it's kind of tied to another thing we just saw. Reports came out, I believe, in the last 2 weeks that showed that over the first 6 months of the year, Google has removed 130,000 what they're calling AI slop channels. Like, that's a lot, man. 130, and they said they still have plenty more to go. So there's been estimates that this number could be potentially triple that by the end of the year. Like that's how many just AI junk channels that people are trying to just spin up on YouTube.
And I don't think anybody is gonna really step like, oh, I really love the AI channels, but it feels like while they were striking down the AI slop, they are gonna get rid of a bunch of smaller creators who they didn't just up the requirements, They doubled the requirements.
Yeah, for shorts especially, I think is the toughest one because like you can have one good video and hit a chunk of your watch time hours. Also, for long form, a lot of people don't know is your streaming. If you stream, also counts for long form hours. It doesn't matter if you stream vertical or horizontal; those also count. So I think there's ways people could still get there, but it is going to be tougher than it was. But
A
man,
lot
when
of
you're
people like God. If you are trying to run this and also have a full-time job, I just can't even imagine.
it's tough. It's definitely tougher. And I do think I could see a world where they pull back on some of the restriction or the new changes for long form because an overwhelming majority of the stuff or the channels that we've seen that are using AI to that level, just as a machine to get stuff out, have been shorts channels because it's really easy to do a bunch of like 1 to 3 minute little clips and put those up or whatever. And man, trying to keep because before you had to have 10 million views over the course of 90 days. Now you got to have 20 million views.
That's insane work.
Yeah, basically means you have to average what is that? 222,000 views a day. Like that's a lot, man.
Right.
That's a lot. But if it works, you do discourage a fair amount of people from wasting their time with all because the thing is a lot of there were basically my understanding these I don't know if you'd want to call them companies, but groups that were just pushing out a ton of AI stuff with the assumption that, okay, well, we only need a couple of these to hit and then we can start making money. But now, if it's like, okay, we need several of these to hit, then maybe it just becomes too expensive for them to want to keep doing the thing. So we'll see. It's a tough situation, honestly, because I get what YouTube's trying to do, but you also don't want to stop people that are trying to be legitimate about it either.
Or honestly, maybe they do. Maybe their number. Maybe there's some number they're not hitting, and this essentially is a layoff of employees you weren't paying anyway.
Maybe. I mean, they do get a lot of view. What was the number that we've seen? It was something like 600 hours of footage is loaded to YouTube every minute now or something. Like just some ungodly number. So maybe they don't mind and they're just saying like, you know what? If most of these cuz this comes to another thing and I think I've said it on the show before. Like one of the things we don't think about as much as, you know, I accept that Google is still one of the bad guys on the corporate level. They do give us a lot of free storage space and whatnot between YouTube, Gmail, whatever that we just get for free
But
from
again,
from
that's not
Google.
out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing it so they can sell us ads on the other
Oh,
end.
agreed, agreed. But that does also come at a cost on their end. If a bunch of these people are just making a bunch of junky shorts, whatever, that aren't doing anything, that does start exponentially eating up more and more space on their channel because they're just, running through the stuff and shoving it out there and it's all garbage. So they may also just be trying to discourage that and saying like, "Hey, this also saves us money outright by doing this."
But in the same way
Sure.
to where, to find a hit movie, you may have to finance 10 or 12 terrible movies to find that one that one movie that turns out to be something.
That's possible too. But they already have a
Entertainment.
lot of people that are going to make them some
Well,
number
yeah,
of those
that is the
top
thing.
movies,
Yeah,
right?
once you've already found it really feels like a big middle finger to smaller creators.
On some level, sadly, it's going to be that way. Yeah.
What
And
level is it not? Because what do you? Because we again, you have doubled the requirements to a point where, especially like you said for the shorts, will be for a lot of people essentially impossible. And what do those creators gain?
yeah, that's the thing. I think if you are a shorts creator, if you're not already monetized, that's where it's really going to hurt. Because I, like I said, I think there's ways you can still get there on the long form, but I don't know how I would get there on short form without doing just, if you make fun cat videos or something or whatever, okay, sure. But when you're making stuff about niche things, whether it's, I don't know, disc golf stuff or even magic stuff or whatever, there's going to be a cap to what you're going to generate every day. So I think that's where it's going to be really tough. And I don't And maybe at some point it's too harsh and they see limited growth and they want more people to do stuff and they change the numbers down the road. Wouldn't be surprised if they do a big thing and get a better handle on the AI stuff. But yeah, I don't know how this is going to end up at the end. But none of these go into effect until February 1st, so you do still have time. But it's a thing we got to pay attention to for sure. Because man, that 20 million views in 90 days is rough.
Right.
That's rough. Like 10 million, like I said, was already hard.
That essentially is like go viral or go home. It's
Yeah,
basically what that is.
basically. I mean, that's really what it is. So I don't, or maybe their goal is get more people to do long form and not short form because maybe they make more money off that stuff. I don't know. Like I don't see the numbers. They're probably not going to talk about the numbers, but there's obviously a reason they're doing it. So we'll see. Want to give a shout out to Tappy Toe Claus, who is a friend of the channel, is hosting, I should say, a charity event for, it's going to be Plane Chase, that's supporting one of the LGBTQ, wow, how could I not say that today? Charities in the Milwaukee area. It's going to be run with NRG Events, and it is next weekend, I believe, if I have the dates correct. So that should be a lot of fun. So if you want to support them or her, because she is good people in the Magic community, she comes with the seal of approval.
Right.
Yeah, August 22nd and 23rd in Milwaukee. So go check that out. They're also going to have Magic, Riftbound, and a couple other games there as well. So go check all that out. It'll be a fun little convention day. You can go to nrgevents.gg and you can find the details there. We also have a new #1 commander on EDH Rec. They keep track of all the different cards that people are turning into commanders and building decks around. What are the most played cards or whatever. But we have a new #1 most played commander. I say most played commander. It's the one that they've built the most decks for. Because one of the misleading things is a lot of people build decks and put them on there, but don't necessarily build them in real life. But regardless,
Also true.
the one that has the most decks on EDH Rec is now Y'shtola, the wonderful cat lady character from Final Fantasy.
I feel like a bunch of people probably are playing with the cat lady. That that just seems like a character that would absolutely be popular.
Oh yeah, I've seen a few in the wild. So I mean, at least some number of people are out playing it.
I see what you did there.
Yep. But the fun thing is, I will say this: it again, this is going to be for people who say they hate Universes Beyond. Like, this is the new most popular commander, right? Whether some of it's because people like the way the deck plays or the card works or whatever, and I get that. But there's a fair amount that are just Final Fantasy fans and they like this character. They built the decks, so it's tough, man. It's just another data point that people do like the Universes Beyond cards, right? At large. So I get it. Again, if you're not a fan, it's bad news for you. I understand that, and it's not what you want to hear, but it's the new #1 commander. I mean, facts are facts. You know what I mean? Well, we don't make up the facts, we just report them. And then a fun thing, which to me is exactly how cross promotion should work with companies. Obviously, this week we had, well, last week we had pre-releases, but this week on Arena, we had the launch of The Hobbit. This Friday, the cards go on sale at your local stores if you just want to buy it. But they took it a step further. So Magic Online and Lord of the Rings Online have decided to do a really fun cross promotion to get people started playing both of their respective games. And what's even cooler, if I remember right, they have the exact same code that you put into both games. It's Lord of the Rings MTGO 2026. So LOTRO MTGO 2026. If you put that into Magic Online, you get a kit that's basically a couple of avatars and what they call the collection upgrade kit, which is a few thousand cards that you can just immediately start building with on your account. And they say also a free account upgrade. So there's something extra. I don't know what that includes. But then if you are a Magic player who wants to try out Lord of the Rings Online, or anybody who wants to try Lord of the Rings Online, all right, anyway, you put in the same code and you get a Build a Pony loyalty companion. You get a Samwise portrait frame. You get the writing skill. So You get to ride mounts immediately from day one when you get in there. And then they have what they call a universal toolkit, which is any profession that crafts stuff in their games, there will be things in there for you. So I'm like, this is literally how cross promotion should work. We have all the eyes on us. We know everybody's looking at our brands. They came up with a promotion that's simple. It works on both platforms. We both have online variants we want to send people to. Hey, hop in, check it out. Here's some free stuff so you can start a fresh account and have some stuff going that's a little bit extra and nice. I don't know, dude. Like, isn't this feels like this is what we should want, isn't it?
As I was gonna say, as somebody that is a critic of Universe and Beyond, I think if we get more stuff where it actually fits the product, like Lord of the Rings, I think that's why Lord of the Rings has done so well, and Avatar, because thematically it really is a perfect fit and doesn't really break the universe. So yeah, absolutely, all the Lord of the Rings stuff they can give us.
Yeah, I'm just a big fan of if we're going to do the level of promotion, especially with the Universe of Beyond or whatever, let's go all in on it. Right. And I feel that way about most things. Like if we're going to make a big deal out of it and promote it as this big, cool project, or whatever, let's get the most out of it. Right. I hate the idea of doing stuff and having it just be, for lack of a better term, just half assing it. Right. Like we're going to make a thing, sell some stuff, and then we're done with it and we move on. Like make it worth it for all parties involved. And this to me feels like a low cost thing that is giving free stuff to players to just hop in, try it, get this cool stuff. And long term, some number of those players will stay playing those games. And now you've made new customers, you'll make more money in the future. Like everybody wins from this type of stuff.
Yeah, you want the partnership to be both ways. You don't want to be like, "Hey, we're helping promote your product to your characters. Can we get Jason your game?" Oh no, I'm sorry, he's not cool enough. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. This feels perfect to me. This is exactly what it is. And also proof that you don't have to do a crazy expensive thing to make the players happy. Right? This is just cosmetics, some free cards. Hey, here's some stuff to build up your character when you start out playing Lord of the Rings online, whatever. But you're getting a lot of cool extras to start playing the game. So it's like, yeah, why not, man? We should do more of this. I am totally in favor of this. This to me gets a double thumbs up. I think it's great. But you know what else could be great? If people found you when you're also not on the show. So where should they go?
Yes, definitely catch me on YouTube at Age of Wagers, and as we talked about already, they have like doubled the requirements. By all means, if you can stop by and give me a subscription over there, as I try to climb a mountain that literally just doubled in size while I was climbing it.
Yeah, go give our boy some love. You can find me at PowrDragn, PowrDragn. Have a new schedule coming up. We're going to be doing some more streaming. We're obviously building a lot of new stuff with The Hobbit. So if you're trying to figure out how to use those cards, stop by, check it out. But as always, wherever you are watching or listening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Please remember to take care of yourselves and your family. Remember to be awesome. And most importantly, be awesome to each other.